The band of the day today is The Used, and it's brought to you by Live Nation. For all the live concerts and events in 2024, check out livenation.com.
Story of my life.
The Used.
Yeah.
It's time for Hot Takes or Toast, brought to you by Siegfried and Jensen with 30 years of serving Utah.
I've been used, abused, and left confused.
At 5-0, BYU's alone at first place in the Big 12. How crazy is this conference?
This conference is drunk, isn't that what they say?
Yeah.
This is sick.
Reed says, you tell me.
I just did.
Kevin said, it seems a little crazy. It's a Weird Al Yankovic gif. He's got aluminum foil for a tin hat, and he's making a weird face.
He could just be standing there with a normal face, and it's a weird face. He's a weird-looking dude by design. Taking that to the bank.
Ben says it's 4% crazy.
No,
Very
I think it's
specific.
about like 96%. This is a great league. I love this league.
Neil's with you. He says that is what makes it fun.
It does.
You turn on the TV and you don't know
One
what's
after
going to
another.
happen. Yeah.
And even if the favored isn't losing, they're being pressed. Not all the time. I mean, every game can't be like that. You know, with baseball's dramatic. Okay, but not every game is a walk-off grand slam in the bottom of the 10th.
No. Some games end 6-2.
Yeah, which reminds me, I was listening the other day of the fifth inning replay. I just flicking the dial on my Sirius, and they had the fifth inning, the Dodger announcers. I thought, I want to hear this. And on that,
Where they don't cover first?
yeah, you can hear distinctly a Yankee fan. What the bleep was that? I mean, just like talking. And I think Rick Monday, who's pushing 80 years old, he sounds great. Either him or the other guy, you hear a little chuckle, but they don't want to acknowledge it. Because it came across as clear as can be on the broadcast. You can hear a Yankee fan.
It's a World Series, and you are just messing up a basic play.
Oh, that was funny. But not every game is like this, but they've had all sorts of exciting games. And it's a 3-hour weather delay in Stillwater. You just don't have that. That was raging water, not Stillwater. I mean, I watched that game at 1:30 and finished it at 8:30.
Typical college football Saturday.
Yeah, it's just amazing. You know, the weather's changed.
What was attendance for the end of that game?
There were some students there.
Yeah.
And then it reminded me of when the Utes went back to Michigan.
Yeah.
And you're a losing team, so you're just going to go home.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's usually the way it is when the home team is getting bludgeoned, they go home. The visiting team's fans, they don't have home and they want to enjoy it anyway. But there was some students who were there and they were getting crazy. And they've pretty much given up on their season, obviously losing 6 in a row to start conference play. It's unheard of for a I wouldn't call it an elite program, but I call it a prestigious program. You know, they've won at least 7 games for 18, 19 years in a row. Yeah. I mean, that's really good.
He's had a bunch of 9 and 10 win seasons.
And to have this get away, and the same thing with the Utes, their games have been on the boring side because there's not a lot of offense, but it's still crazy to see them lose like this, and we'll see what happens this week. Who knows? I mean, this is another game. Go ahead, try to figure it out. Try to predict it because we'll make predictions, and obviously I would go with BYU right now, but I would caution and give you the strongest warning. Don't bet on this game.
Have you seen the line?
I think it would probably be around 5.5 comes to mind.
It's 5.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but if the Cougs win, they probably could win by more. But I wouldn't bet a penny on this. I just wouldn't. Not at all. Late game, a team that's just as wounded as could possibly be. Spiritually, I'm going with the Cougs. Can you keep it up? Is it going to be the law of numbers? You're going to lose at some point. Come on. Are you going to just continue to post victory after victory? You've done it so far. And, yeah, you can. But then you look at it across the board, the next 4 games, there's just no way, man. They're going to go 12-0. That's preposterous. But if you look at it individually, they're going to be favored in each game. So you just don't know what's going to go on. And Houston, left for dead, thought that they sucked beyond belief. And no, Turns out they've come up with some nice victories here. This conference is just crazy. And I actually think, to me, if I'm your Mark, this is exactly what I want. It'd be best if you had multiple teams that are undefeated, but that's so hard to do. So you've got a team up there. You have one, and then you have all these crazy games. And then you got Colorado sitting over there, which is Dion, who's a magnet for publicity. And I believe his kid is really good. This kid is not trumped up because he's the coach's son. No, he is really, really good.
And for anyone who doubts that, they'll be reminded when the NFL draft comes around.
He's a star. And for all the crap that goes around, and maybe that's not the right word, because I'm not negative towards Colorado whatsoever, because I enjoy watching them play. They're an entertaining brand of football. And if you watch Dion on the sidelines, he's doing nothing to draw attention to himself. He's coaching the game.
Well, a lot of that, as the team has won more, is he's dialed all that back. We haven't seen a big blow up at a press conference or anything like that.
Yeah, that's where he tends to be, when it's focused on him. But during the game, there's not focus on him. He's coaching just like anybody else.
Standing on the sideline like everybody else. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And they're a fun team, and they're going to be dangerous, and you just got to go over there next week, and we'll see what happens. And who knows, maybe it could be BYU and Colorado in Arlington. I wouldn't doubt it. I don't know that it's going to happen. I don't know that they're the favorites to have it happen, but it's a very distinct possibility, which would be fun. And I'm going over to Colorado next week. I'm looking forward to covering Colorado in person. I've seen them play many, many games and all this stuff. But this conference really has just, to me, it has been a nice replacement for my 45 years invested in my other conference.
Well, Jeffrey doesn't think so. The Big 12, not very good, exclamation point. Boise State would beat BYU by 2 touchdowns.
You say that.
So I clicked on it, and Jeffrey is from Boise, Idaho.
Oh, okay.
That's why you'd say that.
Well, if this conference isn't good, well, what are you touting your conference over there for?
That's why they're leaving their conference. And they'd jump in the Big 12 in a heartbeat if they were invited.
Yeah, they would. They would. Of course they would. Yeah.
And the cool thing about the 12-team playoff is if Boise State keeps winning, they're going to get a chance to prove themselves. So.
Oh, I think they will. I know Scotty G and I back in that football roundtable. He was downplaying them, and I said I'd take them. He said he'd take the field. Boy, he really took a beating that day because he was hammering the Cougars too. I feel sorry for him.
You do not. You do not feel sorry for him.
Tomorrow's a huge day for him because he's way into that stuff. You know, stuff that's going around in the U.S. And so tomorrow's a gigantic day for him.
The reveal of the first poll of college football. Oh, no, not that poll.
It's his birthday. Because my mentor, who's deceased now, it's his birthday too. And I remembered it.
They matched up, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Well, everybody get Scotty G something.
So, and Boise, I don't disrespect Boise. I used to, and they were a fluke and all, but a long time ago it changed my mind. No, they're a really good program. That's the bottom line, is they're a really good program. And I think it's so cool that they'll get an opportunity to test themselves because they deserve to be in it. If they win out, certainly they deserve to be in it. There's no question, because their only blemish would be a 3-point loss to Oregon, which in terms of losing actually
Oregon
looks really good.
Yeah. And that was a wild game. They went back and forth.
Yeah. Second game of the season. I think Boise will win out, and we'll see what happens as far as, where the placement is and all that stuff and how it'll go. That'll be fun to watch. I'll be watching that game, whoever they play, assuming they get in, which I think they will. I mean, obviously Colorado State is still undefeated there, but I don't think they play each other. I don't think Colorado State and Boise are scheduled to play. So I guess that would get in the conference
title game. If
it comes to that, yeah.
If CSU can pull it together and keep it going.
Right. Yeah. You still got Vegas out there. I think the Aztecs only have one loss too. I think that those are the.
I'm looking at CSU's schedule. They ought to take care of this. They do have to go to Fresno State, but they've got Wyoming and Utah State at home. So,
yeah,
they're pretty close now if they can win in Fresno. We'll see.
Where do they go to Vegas, or they just play on the local site?
I think it's local site.
Okay, that's what I thought too.
And Boise State's higher ranked, so I assume it would be on the blue turf.
Yeah. Yeah, but for the Cougars, man, don't get big-headed. Don't even acknowledge what happened Saturday. Because it literally means nothing to the task at hand. Absolutely nothing.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. When we come back, we will talk with BYU wide receiver Darius Lassiter about the rivalry game. That is next.